So I'm going to move on to that second module, and this is the competition module. So the competition module is, as I mentioned, really about understanding the entire ecosystem. I'm going to just make my browser a little bit bigger here so you can see the whole list. And we're going to pivot here. We've been talking about retail examples, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more, but I also want to focus on not just B2C or business to consumer, but business to business examples. But we'll show you one thing first. So you're going to notice here's a list of all of the cafes in your area, and you're going to see right here over the map a heat map. So if we were looking for a specific category like food away from home, which is what a cafe would be, and maybe we're really a lunchtime business. In the same way that I showed you earlier that you can look at all restaurants or Italian or pizza, you can do the same thing with your heat maps. So here we are looking at consumer expenditures for lunch, and you can actually see neighborhood level information about what the average household is spending. And you can see them in bands down here, or we can actually look at what the average is. So either aggregate or average. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the future. But for right now, I just wanted to see that this is here. And again, you can look at multiple categories. So as I mentioned, if you were in manufacturing or something else, we could look at any of those retail consumer expenditure heat maps. Just to clean up the map, I'm going to click Start Over, which is right here. It'll let you see the whole map. And now I'm going to take you to that second story we were talking about. We're going to move from the coffee shop that's a specialty coffee shop over to a carpenter. And we're not just a carpenter because that's generic. We are specifically a carpenter in Green Bay. And now what you're going to see is all the industries have changed. Now we're showing all of the carpenters and carpentry related businesses around Green Bay. So you can see who your competitors are. You can try to understand where they're located. But a really great tool that's part of this module is the customer tool. So right now we've mapped all of our competitors, and maybe I'm running a 4 to 5 person carpentry business. So I'm not working on really, really big projects. I'm working more on maybe single family home construction. So this is someone who's building the closets. We're not framing the house, right? We're building the closets, the cabinets, the desks, the built-ins. And now we can start to see all of those industries that are related to single family home builders. But that skill set that I have can also apply to other types of carpentry, right? Lawyers, dentists, doctors, they need those bookshelves for all of their files and everything else. So we can add or subtract as many categories as we want. So you can see that we started just with single family house construction, but now I can look at commercial and office building construction as well. And then I can dive in and I can start to learn more about these businesses, how long they've been in business, what their website is. So I can use this for prospecting because I can find out more and more about these businesses. Now, we're only looking at 2 parts of your business, right? Your competitors and now your customers or potential customers. But supply chain is really critical, especially as we've come out of the pandemic. We realize it's still hard to get things from other parts of the world, or maybe you need a specialty item that comes from other places. In the same way we can look at competitors and customers, we can also look at your supply chain. So let's say that you are a smaller carpenter, maybe just looking at hardware stores is sufficient for what you need. And of course, you're going to find the typical type of big box stores, Harbor Freight Tools, so on and so forth. And that's great. You can visit their website, see if they have what you need in stock. What happens if you start working on bigger projects or you need some specialty stuff? So let's go ahead and look at lumber wholesalers. And here we are. We're starting to see all of those lumber wholesalers. As I mentioned to you, we don't have to just look at a local area. Perhaps, as much as we don't want to, there's some specific special Michigan pine tree from the Upper Peninsula, and you might want to look at lumber wholesalers there. Or perhaps we can go even further west, and we can come all the way out here. And you can see I'm really going out there to the Northland Hardwood Lumber Company in Bemidji, Minnesota, because perhaps there's some special Minnesota pine tree that you need that you know that you need to get from Minnesota. So you can pan the map to wherever you need to see that supply chain, to understand where you can get that special Minnesota pine tree for your client in Green Bay, where it can come from. And you're not limited to your neighborhood or your city or your state. We could go all the way out to Hawaii if you needed to get a palm tree. But I just wanted you to see that. And so this works for any industry. If you were a plumber, you could go ahead and look at where your plumbers are. It'll take you back to your home place of analysis, or of course, you could go ahead and change to another city if you're looking to expand. The tool will move with you, whether it's industry or location. As I showed you before, you can always export to PDF, and you'll get those reports showing you the list of competitors, customers, so you can use it for prospecting. Right? So that is the second of the 3 modules in SizeUp Wisconsin. And any questions that were specific to this module that we should cover, Armando?
Yes, however, those questions we will go ahead and save to the end.
Okay, fantastic. So we are moving along really well. So we're making sure that we have plenty of time for Q&A. So I'm going to go ahead and move to the next module, which is the advertising module. And I'm going to pause here because I know a lot of you have been thinking, wow, this is a lot of information to take in. As I mentioned, it's just a guided tour, and we know that you're going to start exploring this tool more on your own later. But I will point this out. If any time you're feeling a little bit lost, you're going to notice there's a little info button right here on the module tab. And if you click that info button, it's going to bring down a video that is context specific. It's going to show you how to walk through the tool. And you notice that it's an inline video. So you can play the video and then follow the steps for your own unique business, your own unique use case, your own unique marketing plan as you move forward. And as I mentioned, it's available on each of the modules. So as you go through, you can just click that button and get the information that you need.